Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Friday, August 9th, 2019.
Commissioner Garcia, Cabello, James, Davis, and Caloza are present. President James, we do have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Larry Hsu, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning, Pamela Ostrander, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Daniel McCabe, Bureau of Street Sanitation.
Good morning, Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Asad Al-Najjar, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Kimberly Mera, City Attorney's Office.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we did receive one speaker card under general public comment. We have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section. We also received a speaker card on item number 1, 5, 8, and 9. In addition to that, we did receive an email commentary on item number 1 that will be distributed to all commissioners in the next few minutes. And also, we received a letter of support from the Mayor's office on item number 10.
We have a couple of requests for continuance regarding the oral reports. That'll be agenda items 11 and, agenda item 12. The Office of Community Beautification will be continued to Monday, August 19th, 2019, without objection. Agenda item number 11, specifications submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids. This is in Council District number 8 for the Vermont Stormwater Capture and Green Street Phase 2 project. Estimate of $1,638,000. Bid receipt date Wednesday, September 18, 2019. Is there a second to my motion that we approve agenda item number 11 forthwith by Commissioner Cabello? Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. On general public comment, Mr. Sachs, you have a card in on general public comment.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, Arnold Sachs, and Arnold Sachs for the record, and do something a little different. Look at the humanitarian side of some newspaper articles. I went to a council meeting on Tuesday in Redondo Beach, and I suggested they have a problem with a power plant that they want to demolish, but they really can't because essentially it's become a protest work of art. It's got this huge mural painted around it of whales. It's a famous mural. And they can't destroy it because they'll be destroying this world-famous mural. What are they going to do with it? So I made a couple of suggestions to them about using it for public projects, maybe even make it into office projects. That being said, there's an article in the Downtown News written by Reverend Andy Bales and G. Michael Arnold about when it comes to homelessness, we must do more and we must do it now. Focusing on permanent supportive housing is flawed. And they're right. They're actually very right. What we should be doing and what the city should be doing and what the county should be doing is letting the insurance company pay for the supportive services. If they're enrolled in LA Care is a health insurance plan. LA Care isn't able to provide programs because people aren't in, I guess, beds. But if they're put in beds, then they become the insurance company's problem. Let the insurance company pay for the supportive services. It would put people to work, and it would give people an opportunity to do some training, and it would get people off the street. There's 3 pluses right there, and it would make some money for the county because the insurance company pays the going rate. This is not a Medicaid, Medi-Cal program. There is no adjustment for the services that are provided. It's the going
2
rate.
minutes.
It's a good idea. These guys ought to be applauded for their thinking.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. That'll close general public comment as well as the neighborhood council category of commentary. Agenda item number 1, Council District 4, tree removal permit 5235 through 5335 North Sunny Slope and 13506 Chandler Boulevard on Sunny Slope Avenue. Recommending that the board first find that the tree removal classifies as operation, repair, maintenance, or minor alteration of existing street, sidewalk, and gutter involving negligible or no expansion of use beyond that previously existing and does not involve the removal of a scenic resource Secondly, that the action is exempt under Article 3, Section 1, Class 1, Category 3. Those are existing facilities for sidewalk repair or maintenance of the City of Los Angeles Environmental Quality Act guidelines from 2002. Third, that none of the exceptions to the use of a categorical exemption as set forth in Section 15300.2 of state CEQA guidelines apply. Secondly, remove and approve the review, and approve this tree removal permit request for the removal of 11 American sweet gum trees by city forces for the reconstruction of defective public sidewalk and curb conditions. Tree replacements are required. This had been continued a couple of different times, most notably that I recall from a requested continuance from the council office. I'm correct on that, Dr. Campos, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And we have, they're okay to go forward with this today. I think we should, I know I've got a couple of speaker cards. Let's go ahead with Mr. Tyson, and you'll describe what's being proposed as essentially the applicant of sorts. Then we will hear from our speakers and go from there.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, Bureau Representatives, City Attorney, and Executive Officer. I will read this into the record.
Go ahead.
The Bureau of Engineering is the lead agency in identifying defective sidewalks at several locations throughout the City of Los Angeles as part of the citywide sidewalk repair program. The Bureau of Engineering and its contractors are working in close collaboration with the Bureau of Street Services Streets LA in addressing potential impacts to street trees adjacent to targeted locations. The Bureau of Engineering contacted the Streets LA in reference to reconstruction of defective sidewalks and curb conditions along the 5200 through the 5300 block North Sunny Slope Avenue between Chandler Boulevard to the north and Magnolia Boulevard to the south. A Streets LA arborist inspected the subject location on April 21st, 2018, and again on March 9th, 2019. The inspection revealed 43 various tree species, with most being mature American sweet gum trees growing along the block. 11 of the 43 trees are in poor health and in various stages of decline. The trees measure approximately 3 to 36 inches in diameter by approximately 40 to 60 feet in height, growing in 6-foot parkways with 5-foot sidewalks located at the following locations. One American sweet gum tree is located at 5335, 5325, 5313, 5307, 5301, 5257, 5251, and 5235 Sunny Slope Avenue. And there are 3 American sweet gums located at 13506 West Chandler Boulevard on the Sunny Slope Avenue side. In order to retain and minimize impact to the remaining 32 trees, the trees will be trimmed and root pruned, and adjacent sidewalks at some locations will be reduced from 5 feet to 4 feet to allow for future growing space. The Streets LA is proposing to remove and replace the defective sidewalks and curbs due to severe disruption by the roots and root crowns of the subject trees. The 11 trees identified for removal have severely outgrown their growing space, and defective sidewalks are prevalent throughout the area. The required root pruning to allow the 11 trees to remain would significantly and adversely affect the trees' declining health and roots, structural integrity, leaving them potentially unstable. Hence, sidewalk reconstruction will require tree removal. The Streets LA finds the tree removal 1 classifies as operation repair, as is the CEQA analysis was just spoke about by President James. Nikki Azari, District Director, 4th Council District Office, was informed of the tree removal request on April 2nd, 2019. Notice of the proposed tree removals were physically posted on the subject trees on April 24th, 2018, and again on March 9th, 2019. The The proposed tree removals were included in the Bureau's tree removal notification system, and the Community Forest Advisory Committee and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment were also notified. All tree replacements comply with the Board of Public Works 2-to-1 tree replacement policy and shall be planted by the Office of Community Beautification or its contractor. It is recommended at this time that 8 24-inch box size Chinese pistache trees to be replanted on the 52 to 5300 block of North Sunny Slope at the following addresses. One at 5235, one at 5251, one at 5257, and one at 5301. Also, one at 5307 and one at 5313, one at 5325 and one at 5335 North Sunny Slope Avenue. 6 24-inch box-sized Chinese pistache trees to be planted in the 13,000 block West Chandler Boulevard at the following addresses. One at 13454, one at 13460, two at 13506, one at 13512, and one at 13518 West Chandler Boulevard. Another 8 24-inch box-sized Chinese pistache trees to be replanted on the 13,000 block of North Margate Street at the following addresses. Two at 13330, one at 13346, one at 13350, one at 13356, one at 13442, and two at 13454 North Margate Street. If this is approved today for the trees to be removed, we've already been in contact with the neighborhood block captain that we would work with the block captain and the community members on the tree species for the palette of the trees that will be planted, and we'll work with them on that. The division would really like to see large growing canopy covered trees, as the parkway will allow that. I have some photos here that were taken on July 23rd, 2019 by myself. I went to the location to re-inspect all the trees, and I'll just give these to the executive officer.
I've got some color photos electronically here as well.
Okay.
Tim.
So that really concludes the report. The trees are in a state of decline. They have what we feel is Xylella fastidiosa, which is
Is that, and it's the Xylella, whatever all the words are that you list there, the tops, the crowns of these trees look bare. Is that a signal of disease, or is that just part of this species?
No, this is a signal of, this is happening with the liquid amber trees throughout San Fernando Valley, more so there than on this side of the hill in the metro area. If you remember, we did Lindley Avenue, where we had a whole lot of trees that had to come out there that were in the same condition. The Xylella fastidiosa is transmitted by the glassy wing sharpshooter. It's a bacteria that it injects into the tree, and the bacteria goes in and it starts growing into the water tubes that run up and down the tree, and it clogs it up, and the water can't get to the crowns of the tree. Therefore, they start dying back, and they continue to die.
The board report indicates, as you said, there are 43 trees in this area. 32 are not being affected. 11 are the ones that are the subject of the board report, correct?
Correct. There are actually 6 trees that we're saving on that one side of the street.
Right.
I'm sorry, 8 trees we're saving, 6 of which are liquid ambers that are in a better state of health, that we feel we can do the root pruning, and we really pray that the Xylella doesn't, affect them further. There's one jacaranda and one Washingtonian palm tree that's in this group of trees.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Tyson before we go to our speakers, and then we'll take questions after that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm just going to go in the order in which I think I received them. Jackie Joseph Lawrence. Morning.
Hello, Mr. President and members of this group, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity of coming into this wonderful room in City Hall and speaking on behalf of my neighbors. I live on Sunny Slope. I have one of the trees that is a survivor so far, and I also want to thank you for taking care of our cement. This dent on my head represents the reason why so many people have fallen, broken hips. But I'm sure you may have heard from some of them, but the, the streets all through the valley, I understand, are in big trouble. But I have one little favor to ask you about the cement. If you could get kind of really nifty cement, the best kind of cement that won't crumble. That I hear, you think cement is cement, but perhaps some kind of really super cement would really be appreciated because we waited a long time and we're happy you're paying attention. I kind of know who you are. I'd like to introduce you to basically the kind of rare person that I am. I was born in General Hospital. That's when it was General Hospital and wasn't County USC and whatever it's become now. I spent my school years on the streetcar or going to the subway terminal to walk and look at all the stores downtown. And when I got old enough, I worked after school or during holidays in all those stores downtown. I've always worked in Los Angeles, except a brief job here and there, if I got lucky. But this is what I am, a Los Angeles person.
2 minutes.
I've watched it grow. I've lived in places where you walk all the way up the hills, up Baxter. I've lived downtown. I've lived near Silver Lake. I've lived in the valley. And my grandparents had a secondhand 5 and dime on Second and Fremont. My grandfather told me the Second Street tunnel was his tunnel, and of course, would he lie? So whenever I walk through it with great pride, that was my grandfather's tunnel, and I still think that today. And I picked a street for my retirement years called Sunny Slope because it brought serenity. It wasn't that it's like the fanciest houses, it's just a basic, wonderful neighborhood. And the green of the streets brought a peacefulness to live. And so, as a concerned member, citizen of Los Angeles, and representing our little neighborhood, they have a link. We talk to each other by email in case there's somebody odd walking around or somebody needs a plumber. It's a concerned neighborhood. We have a little 4th of July parade with about 3 blocks, and we have yearly parties on the block. And because we want to know each other, we want to take care of each other, and we want to respond to the city if they're going to take care of us. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm thanking you. I'm thanking the members of your tree and sidewalk. They've got to do it all. I think they could use a little help because there's a lot to do. But we hope that we have enough time to do it in the best fashion possible because we're people who really care. We're people who have chosen to live in this part of Los Angeles. And so we hope that you care back at us. And
Thank you,
again,
ma'am.
I don't want to babble on too long, but thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to our new trees and our new cement and to keep being involved with the government.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming down. And I also have Bob Holmes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. My name's Bob Holmes. I'm a 36-year resident of Sunny Slope Avenue, and I also represent the Sunny Slope Avenue Homeowners Association. Our association includes 25 homeowners on Sunny Slope, as well as a number of other concerned neighbors and homeowners on the adjacent streets of Margate, Weddington, and McCormick. We came together in response to the city's decision to remove the liquid ambers. Our sole mission has been to partner with Urban Forestry, Councilman Rue's office, the Neighborhood Council of Sustainability Alliance's Tree Committee, to identify the cause of the liquid amber's decline, whether they could be restored back to health with selective pruning, deep watering, and fungicide treatment, which my tree, as well as others that are being saved, have. And if not, identify the most appropriate tree varieties to promote biodiversity, support wildlife, and restore the lost tree canopy for the next generations to come. The homeowners fully believe we've made progress. We've been able to work with urban forestry to have more trees planted on Sunny Slope than were originally planned. We've also looked at trees for upper and lower canopy. We want to continue working, and we believe we can make progress to reach a satisfactory resolution. At our request and Councilman Rue's office's request, NCSA's Tree Committee sent a letter June 24th to Urban Forestry and the Bureau of Engineering outlining our remaining concerns and asking for additional information regarding planting strategies and long-term irrigation needs, which is a big concern of ours as the tree survival. The Bureau of Engineering did provide the information on July 15th. Urban Forestry responded on July 17th requesting a meeting with the NCSA's Tree Committee, which is a group of 14 people who work full-time, and this is a part-time organization. Unfortunately, that meeting has not taken place. I know the groups tried to get it set up, but were unsuccessful in the short time before today's hearing. If, as Nelson Henderson said, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit, then the Homeowners Association remains committed to this project and wants to plant those trees with urban forestry. We're respectfully requesting a continuance of this hearing until the meeting between NCSA and urban forestry takes place. I also have copies of the letters that from NCSA, as well as the responses back from Urban Forestry and Bureau of Engineering. And I'd also like to make a note that in your agenda items, attachment BSS_1 of the cover sheet, which identifies the location of where the new trees are to be planted, there was a meeting between myself and Urban Forestry on June 14th, and we identified and marked on the sidewalks on Sunny Slope, as well as on one spot on Chandler, where these trees are to go. And so it's a very different plan than what was outlined just earlier, as well as we have identified large and small trees, but we have not finalized the variety of trees that we wanted planted.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Tyson. A couple things. Procedurally, there are a couple things I want to go over regarding the request, and I appreciate the comments of both of our speakers who are adjacent property owners, as they've indicated. This item was originally set for May 10th, 2019. So
That's
almost
correct.
exactly 3 months ago.
That's
so
correct.
We've had a number of continuances that were not short continuances. So my gut on this is to move forward today. And we have some communication from the council office that's indicated that they've deferred to us on the timing of this, although they're willing to continue to, of course, to continue to work with your office and the community regarding watering and maintenance going forward, which is great. But a couple things I would like on the record. One, my understanding, there are kind of two categories. One is that there was a meeting that occurred at some point between a representative of Street Services, Streets LA, and the community, at least one. Is that correct?
That is correct, President
Okay.
James.
Then the second category, and I want to hear about that from your representative, and then the second category would be the attempts by Streets LA for subsequent meetings during this window of requested continuances that were granted. So let's start with the community meeting.
Absolutely, President James. I'm going to ask Mr. David Miranda to come up as he held the community meeting. He's the Superintendent 1 in the Urban Forestry Division, and he can explain how the meeting was taking place and what took place.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, sir.
Morning, President James, board members, and commissioners. My name is David Miranda. I'm a superintendent with the Urban Forestry Division.
Okay, and so you hosted a meeting or attended a meeting with community members about this?
Correct. That was held on 5/31/19 at Mr. Bob Holmes' property.
Okay. And how would you summarize the meeting and the results thereof?
Well, we conducted the meeting there. It was an open forum, questions and answers about what the project entitled. And we went back and forth with all the concrete repairs. We had representatives from the Pedestrian Improvement Division. There was open questions about that, and then also about the trees to be removed, trees to be planted, and the tree watering maintenance that we're going to provide for a period of 3 to 5 years, depending on the drought conditions.
Okay. And was there, at the conclusion of the meeting, were there next steps? Were the next steps a hearing like this? Were there going to be more discussions or more attempts at further meetings? Or was there anything discussed at all?
The last step that we agreed to was to meet with Bob Holmes and go out and identify new tree planting sites within the Sunny Slope project, which we did conduct by 2 supervisors, Louis Torres and Victor Ibarra, met with Bob Holmes on 6/14/19, and they both, well, all 3 of them agreed on the new tree planting sites and a new palette of species to be planted.
Okay.
And that's where we left off at.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Tyson. And it may be Mr. Spots. Okay, Mr. Spots. Regarding the requested or the attempts at responding to further requests for further communications or meetings during the window of time that the continuances from our board were taking place, would you summarize that?
Absolutely. I'm Greg Spots, Assistant Director and Chief Sustainability Officer for Streets LA, and Tim Tyson reports to me. We received this letter from the Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance Tree Committee in June, and the letter was addressed to Streets LA and Bureau of Engineering, and it asked for a variety of documents.
That's a group that's different from the Sunny Slope Homeowners Association, as far as you know, correct? Or
yes, it's a city. It's
Mr.
a
Holmes is
citywide
indicating
group.
yes. Yeah. Okay.
It's a
go ahead.
citywide group that takes an interest in tree removals around the city.
And they may not necessarily live in the Sunny Slope area. They may or may not. But
I think there's people who live all over the city. That's what they've indicated.
As they've indicated. Go ahead.
So the letter requested documents that many of them aren't actually part of our process. We don't produce the exact type of documents they were requesting. So Bureau of Engineering sent a written response and attached the project plans and the standard plans for replacing in kind the sidewalk. And then we sent an email in July, on July 17th, offering to meet. And we planned in that meeting to take all the input that they wanted to provide us and let them know that the documents they requested aren't part of our sidewalk repair process. And we offered meeting dates of July 25th, July 26th, August 2nd, and August 5th. We didn't get a response for a week. I then got involved and sent an email to the group on July 22nd, encouraging that a meeting take place by August 5th so that we could incorporate their feedback into Tim's informed presentation here. Subsequently, I received a call from one of the group members and discussed the project in detail for about a half an hour, and we went through point by point all the items in the letter. And at that point, I think the group understood our position and we understood their position. Subsequently, on August 1st, a different member of the group asked for a meeting outside business hours. The next day, I offered a 5 p.m. meeting on any upcoming weeknight at the field office of Council District 4 in Sherman Oaks, thinking that would be closer to people who are directly affected by the project, and that was declined. Then Mr. Tyson offered some various times for conference calls, and those were also declined.
Okay, thank you. And I'll go to questions afterwards. Let me just put my statement on the record here. Thank you, Mr. Spots. The Board of Public Works, we kind of will always grant, generally, if we can, a continuance to stakeholders, even people that aren't stakeholders, if they have a valid reason for a continuance. And we did so twice. that covered 3 months of time at least, twice. And I know that people have been in touch with the council office. Our offices have been in touch with the council office. I think this is ready for resolution this morning. This is related to sidewalk repair. We have already heard from one of the adjacent stakeholders this morning about injuries that can occur and do occur on our sidewalks, and this is a matter of public safety. Mr. Tyson has already spoken about the condition of the trees, and Streets LA has done a remarkable job, particularly in the last couple of years, maybe even longer, of saving as many trees as possible and using alternative methods and considering alternative methods. And there are examples around the city of this that Mr. Spots is very good at publicizing in social media, which is what we want them to do, so that the public knows what's available to them and what we're doing. So given what we've heard on the attempts at meetings with the existing meeting with the existing homeowner group that appeared today, as well as the subsequent walkthroughs, and the reasonable attempts over a period of weeks to meet with the group that is not directly associated with the adjacent property, but nevertheless looks out for tree issues citywide. I think that the Department of Public Works has done the work that it's required to do for this to be ready for resolution today. With that, I'll go to Commissioner Davis and then Commissioner Cabell.
I just wanted to clarify, in the meeting that we had with constituents, they were able to identify tree replacements specifically that they like to see put in those areas identified at the meeting? Yes, sir. They did? And then of those trees, what kind of trees did they choose?
We're going with African fern pine, Portocarpus gracilis, alphacatus, what is it? We'd like to plant, as I stated before, a large canopy growing tree. The Aphrocarpus falcatus used to be called the Portocarpus gracilis. It got a name change, but it's a beautiful tree. It's evergreen, which the liquid ambers are not, and it can grow to 70 feet tall, 40 feet wide, and provide ample shade. Really, we're talking about future. We're talking about when we're really going to need all the trees that we're talking about, 100 degrees or 100 days hotter every year, 20 years from now. These trees will be providing all those benefits that these trees will no longer be on the face of the earth if we wait and watch them die.
And is that the kind of tree that they've chosen for all of them?
This is something we're going to have to work with them a little bit more about. That's what I stated.
So they haven't fully selected those for every
correct, and
identified space.
Correct.
But they've partially agreed to some of the spaces having that kind of a tree.
Yes.
And then they have how many left out that needs to be completed in our future communication with the group?
Well, that's what we need to sit down and communicate with each other, or what type of species they may want to plant other than the Aphrocarpus falcatus.
Okay. All right. So we have a
goal. So we'll have an ongoing, we're going to work with the community members.
And just to add, Commissioner Davis, I've seen an email from the council office. The council office is willing to work with everyone as well.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Cabell.
Thank you, President James. Mr. Spots, can you come on up, please? So let's go back to why we're removing the trees. Let's rewind. What are the sidewalk conditions and why is this necessary?
The bulk of the sidewalk repairs that are conducted currently by the city are on request from mobility impaired persons. And this is a request that came in probably in 2017, and this project was originally put together in March of 2018. So the persons who are mobility impaired, meaning using a walker or a cane or a wheelchair, have been waiting for quite some time for us to remedy the hazardous sidewalk conditions.
So we see the necessity, as Ms. Joseph Lawrence has testified herself, and thank you for your passion of being a native Angelino, as am I, the danger that can cause to someone, the hazard for having that sidewalk, and the need to do this in the most community-oriented and responsible manner possible. But as a part of removing these trees in the sidewalk repair, the Bureau is going to do a 2-to-1 tree replacement. Is that correct?
That's the board policy, yes.
So the board policy will be followed. They'll have twice as many trees going forward, understanding that, yes, they will be young trees, but they will grow into a big full canopy, being even larger than what's currently there. So I'd like that for the record. And do we know if there's any representative from the Neighborhood Council Sustainability Alliance Tree Committee present? Okay, like that for the record as well. Given that, I just think that I agree with President James's assessment that it does seem that the Urban Forestry Division will be willing to work with you, Mr. Holmes, and with the community on location, on types of trees. I think this is an ongoing dialogue, but the necessity of keeping our streets safe and removing dead trees so that it doesn't affect further trees and making sure that we have the most livable conditions for everyone possible is imperative at this point. So I do support this moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. So that'll be my motion. And is there a second by Commissioners Cabello, Garcia, and Davis? Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 1. Thank you, everyone, for your participation today, ma'am. Thank you for coming to City Hall. Thank you, everybody else. We'll send agenda, without objection, we'll send agenda item number 1 forthwith. Agenda item number, let's see, let's take number, Mr. Hsu, do you want, should I do the supplemental agreement before the street closure or the street closure before the supplemental agreement? Doesn't matter. Let's take the supplemental agreement first. Council District 8 Supplemental Agreement Storm Drain Conflict on Crenshaw Boulevard south of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. You know what? I want to take the street closure first. Sorry about that. Just remembered something. Council District 8 Street Closure, Metro Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor Project, Crenshaw Boulevard between 60th Street and 67th Street, August 12, 2019, which is Monday, through October 10th, 2019. Recommending that the board, and I've got a few findings here. First, find that the Board of Public Works has reviewed and considered the information in the project draft environmental impact statement, environmental impact report, we'll call that the EIR, that's transmittal number 1, and the project final EIR transmittal number 2. Secondly, find under the California Public Resources Code, section 21166, and the California Environmental Quality Act, that's CEQA, section 15162, on the basis of substantial evidence contained in the whole record, that since certification of the EIR, there have been no changes with respect to the circumstances under which the temporary street closure being undertaken would require a subsequent EIR or a supplemental EIR. Third, adopt the October 2011 Mitigation Monitoring and Reporting Program, that's transmittal number 3, prepared by the Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, that's Metro, as it pertains to construction impacts. Number 4, find under CEQA Guidelines section 15091 that changes have been incorporated into the project which substantially lessen the significant environmental effects as identified in the EIR. Further, find that there is no feasible alternative or additional feasible mitigation measures within the board's powers that would substantially lessen any significant effect the project would have on the environment. Fifth, adopt the attached CEQA findings of fact and statement of overriding considerations, that's transmittal number 4, as it pertains to the temporary street closure, and find that the economic, social, technological, and other benefits of the project outweigh its significant and unavoidable impacts. 6, specify that the Metro Transit Division of the Bureau of Engineering, located at 1149 South Broadway, and the board, located here in City Hall, and other relevant City of Los Angeles departments are custodians of the documents or other material which constitute the record of the proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. 7, approve the request to temporarily close Crenshaw Boulevard between 60th Street and 67th Street in 3 phases for a total of 59 days, starting Monday, that's this Monday, August 12, 2019 at 9 a.m., and ending Thursday, October 10th, 2019 at 9 a.m., subject to the conditions identified within the report as requested by the Metro Chief Executive Officer, Philip Washington, to Mayor Eric Garcetti in a letter dated May 22nd, you got Mayor and May right next to each other, May 22nd, 2019, transmittal number 5, and finally number 8, approve the peak hour exemption request, that's transmittal number 6, on Crenshaw Boulevard between 60th Street and 67th Street to allow construction work during weekday morning peak hours 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and weekday afternoon peak hours 3:30 to 7 p.m. starting Monday, August 12th and ending Thursday, August 10th, 2019, subject to the conditions identified within the report. And on number 9, Mr. Shu, before you start, I've got Mr. Sachs on number 9.
Yes, thank you again. For the record, Arnold Sachs, and Arnold Sachs for the record. And so I do have a couple of things about this item. Seems people are throwing their weight around a little. So, first of all, I was wondering if there had been public hearings held regarding street closure. I mean, it's 60 days at this particular incident area. Has the businesses that may be impacted been notified that they may be able to get some relief from Metro? What else did I write down here as far as notes? Public meetings for the public. Along that line, you have here a Street and Transportation Projects Oversight Committee from June 6th. I'm not sure if this project would have been a committee as part of this agenda, but I'm just wondering, do they have oversight of checking on this item? Another part of this is, here's an inter-office memo correspondence to this agency from the Bureau of Streets LA. They're not listed in this item. So we've heard a few times that you have a lot of difficulty between departments not communicating with each other. If Streets LA doesn't get notified about a street closure from the Bureau of Sanitation or Metro's Bureau of whoever, will they be able to put that in an advanced inter-office memo so that people can know about it? This idea that the streets will close Monday, August 12th, it says 9 a.m., but actually they're going to ask for a 6 a.m. start. So people need to be made aware of this. This goes back to which department is which department that has oversight of this. That is my real question here. And I have another question. I don't know if that, no, that's for number 8. But based on the previous incidents that occurred in another street closure and the wording of some of the contract or some of the
2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Shu on number 9, the street closure.
Morning, Larry
morning.
Shu. Good morning. Larry Shu from the Bureau of Engineering, Metro Transit Division. The board report before you is in regards to the Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor project. This is an 8.5-mile transit line that will be connecting the Expo line at the Expo Crenshaw Station to the Green Line Aviation Station near LAX. Metro and its contractor, Walshay Corridor Constructors, are requesting to implement a full street closure on Crenshaw Boulevard between 60th Street and 67th Street for 59 days from Monday, August 12th to Thursday, October 10th, 2019. This street closure is being requested for the contractor to perform partial restoration of Crenshaw Boulevard above the underground guideway number 3. As part of the board's consideration of this closure, we have included a count of the correction items that Bureau of Contract Administration has identified. 432 correction items were communicated to Metro and Walshay in March of 2018. During the past 4 months, progress has been made on these correction items. As of the writing of this report, 259 of the items have been completed and accepted by BCA. 173 items remain. In addition to those items, we had 22 open correction items from prior street closures. 10 of those closure items have been completed and accepted by BCA, and 12 items remain. Cesar Rangel from the Bureau of Contract Administration will be able to provide an update as to the status of these items. You know, they're continuing to work on the items. So, in a letter dated May 22nd, 2019, Metro CEO Philip A. Washington has committed to address any deficient work resulting from the construction of the project by the Revenue Service State, currently anticipated to be in the spring of 2020. On June 26, 2019, Metro submitted a potential notice of betterment to the Bureau of Engineering, attributing 120 of the items to the city financial responsibility. LADOT has reviewed and approved the worksite traffic control plan for the proposed closure. Additionally, we have been coordinating with the Traffic Management Committee to minimize any conflict with the adjacent permit holders and ongoing construction activities in the vicinity of the closure. Secret clearance has been obtained. Additionally, the major BOE design approvals have been obtained for this closure. Regarding outreach efforts, Council Districts 5 Council District 8 has been notified of their, I'm sorry, Council District 8 has indicated their support of the requested street closure and associated peak hour exemption. In addition, Metro's public relations team has performed outreach for this closure. Per conditions numbered 6 and 8 found in the report before you, Metro and Walsh Corps of Constructors shall provide a verbal status report to the Board of Public Works relative to the progress of the UG3 construction activities at the following board meetings, Monday, September 9th, and Wednesday, October 2nd. This is recommended by our department because of the Taste of Soul, which is scheduled for October 9th, and towards the tail end of this closure.
There is Larry Shue up there reading our minds again. Go ahead.
Lastly, Metro and Walsh Corps of Constructors staff are in attendance and to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Thank you, sir. We will start with Commissioner Caloza. I saw her light first, and then Commissioner Davis.
Thanks, President James. Just to clarify, this is the second time now we're doing the street closure, right?
Yeah, there was probably an earlier closure to start for the to put in the things needed to construct the underground structures. Correct.
And this might be a better question for Metro or the Walsh. Are any representatives here in the audience today? Okay, great. So will this street closure allow you to complete all the work required in this corridor for the Crenshaw project?
Most of it.
We'll just get your name and everything for the record, sir.
Sammy Gali, LA Metro, Senior Executive Officer and responsible for the Crenshaw LA project.
So you're anticipating to return back to board for a third closure for the street?
Most of it. There is some work on the side, in the lane 1. Both sides will require to be done later under lane closure, but it doesn't require any total closure again. This is the bulk of the work, really.
And is it typical for you guys to have multiple closures on the same street? I'm asking more in the sense of, community impact. Commissioner Garcia and I were out there a few months ago, and I know the impact to the community for the specific project has been, I think a lot, and I'm trying to minimize and want to be respectful to what inconvenience we may be causing in the constant interruption for this project. And so, one of the items that I think I saw here on the board report that I also wanted to ask you about was, some of the correction items. And is that the work that's going to be, that you'll be doing while you're out there for this specific closure? Because this starts on Monday, right?
Yes. If the deficiency are in this area will be corrected while we're there. But most of them around the Park Mesa height, so a bit south of this area.
So is the contractor going out there on Monday to correct work that they should have done properly the first time this closure happened?
No. That's work to restore this area after we constructed the underground sections for this area.
And so in terms of the outreach that happened in relation to this closure, did you receive any complaints from the community? Since this is a little bit close to the deadline for when this closure is actually going to happen, it doesn't give us a whole lot of time to respond, since this is on Monday already that you're requesting.
I don't believe so, but can refer to our public relation person.
While we have a break, ma'am, one moment, we have some young people that are here visiting us this morning. Just wanted to... I'm sorry? Oh, great. Hey, everybody. Welcome. So we're actually talking about Crenshaw Boulevard right now with representatives from Metro regarding the Crenshaw line, and there is a proposed street closure request for just about 2 months for construction of the Crenshaw line that we're discussing. Welcome to City Hall. And you're in one of the, outside of a movie studio, this is one of the most filmed rooms in the entire city. Lots of movies and TV shows, including most recently, the joint episode between How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal was filmed right here. So welcome. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Annette Cortez, and I work for Metro on the construction relations team.
Some of the, we have been talking about these closures and sharing information with the community since January. So we've had 3 community meetings where we've had detailed information on the upcoming closures, which are now here on Monday. We've also done door-to-door outreach. The contractors' construction relations team has been talking to community members and business owners along the alignment, agencies, schools. We've had briefings with some of the key stakeholders in the area, including West Angeles Villas, and we've provided information about the temporary bus routes that will be impacted, or the bus routes that will be impacted and where the temporary locations will be. So that was one of the concerns that has been brought up regarding access to temporary bus stations. So we have addressed that. We've also have a direct mailer, which we have done for the previous closures, which outlined the 3 phases of the closure, and it's pretty friendly for individuals to understand the basic information on why the closure and what is going to be conducted during the closure, and also it outlines the detour routes. We've also done print media, radio. We have also we have plans to have directional signage so that individuals know that the businesses within part of Crenshaw will be accessible and open for business. I also would like to invite Jessica Spearman. She has information on the BIF program and the types of outreach that we've done for small businesses, and to provide information on the mitigation programs that we have available and how they can access them.
Good morning, President. Hi. Good morning, President James and Commissioners. My name is Jessica Spearman. I work for Metro. I work on the Business Interruption Fund and the Business Solution Center, which are 2 small business pilot programs that assist businesses that are impacted by construction. I'll provide you with a brief update, just give you some stats as far as the businesses that we've worked with that are within the closure area. As you know, there already is construction that is ongoing, so we have been engaging with businesses for many, many years in the area. Specifically, we've got about 12 grantees that are in the area, 12 different businesses that have received at least 2 or more grants within this area. Specifically for our Business Solution Center, they have about 6 clients that are repeat clients that have come back for a variety of different business support needs, including accounting and tax assistance. Of course, our Business Solution Center works with businesses in preparation for the Business Interruption Fund, IT assessments, point of sale systems, different types of things that they've assisted businesses with, of course, always website and social media development as well. So we've been able to work with a few of the businesses already within the area. Specifically, we did host a workshop last night within the closure area, specifically so that we could have something that was within that direct area. We did have 3 business owners attend. We had a great opportunity to provide information about both programs, the BIF and the BSC. And we also had our colleagues from Construction Relations in the room to answer questions. It was a really great opportunity for business owners to learn about our programs, to speak one-on-one with our staff and our contractor staff, as well as speak to Construction Relations about how they can get the word out to their customers, rather, that they will be open for business and where they'll be able to access their business, as well as the temporary bus stop relocations as well. So we've done continuous outreach within the area, and we'll do ongoing outreach during the closure time as well as after.
Thank you.
And just one last question. How many businesses are directly impacted by this closure?
That's a good question. I'm not certain. I would hate to give you an incorrect number. I would say more than 100, but I'm not certain.
More than 100, but only 3 attended last night?
That's correct. But typically, the best way we can get to a business is one-on-one.
And so will there be additional outreach?
Of course.
Since
yes,
a very small amount attended?
Yes, we do the workshops as an opportunity for businesses to come and attend, but of course businesses all have different hours, different times they operate rather. So we make the workshops available, but we've been most successful with doing door-to-door outreach. And even to invite business owners to attend, our staff did door-to-door outreach about our workshop. So the attendance is not reflective of participation in either program, because we are able to work with them one-on-one.
And how many participants are in your interruption fund again as a result of this closure?
We have currently 12 businesses that are within the area that are grantees currently.
Okay.
However, additional businesses will be able to engage provided that they meet the eligibility requirements. But that's just within that closure as far as from 60th to 67th,
Okay, so 12 out of 100 businesses.
approximately.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Galloza. Commissioner Davis?
First, I want to thank the MTA staff for the collaboration that has been done, particularly with Charles Bouvier, around us working with the West Angeles Curve project there, who is building some affordable housing. And of course, there were several concerns that some of the neighbors and the businesses had in that area about that business being able to accommodate parking and et cetera. And we were able to share some of the best practices of MTA, obviously with West Angeles, and that project was successfully completed in terms of the right-of-way for future customers of the businesses that had some concerns and some complaints. So again, I want to compliment you on that. Is the 8th, this is in the 8th Council District, right? Correct. They are working with you guys on this? Are they here today? Are they here today in the meeting? I mean, here in the, they're not here. We had 12 businesses that you said are in the impacted area, right?
There are 12 businesses that are BIF grantees that are within the area.
They were granted prior to this particular closure.
That's correct.
So they came with us from some past action.
Yes, and
project.
we do continuous
So to
outreach
date, we
within
don't
the area.
have any businesses that have expressed concern about the length. I guess this is what, about 59 days, you said? So we don't have any businesses that have expressed a need or concern about the duration of the 59 days to date that you know of.
I will defer to construction relations. Our goal with our programs is to provide the information to support businesses as they are impacted by current construction and, of course,
Have any of the businesses, you said there were 100 businesses, have any of them expressed a concern about their operations during this 59-day?
Yes, we have received those concerns, and what we typically do is refer them to the BIF program. So Jessica and her staff and her consultants will then visit.
You would have referred them to Jessica?
Yes.
And you haven't received any referrals yet, or you have?
We've been engaging with some businesses. We had a new business that attended last night. We've gone out and done extensive outreach over the course of the last, honestly, 4 years.
About how many have you received from her office yet to date that have expressed concern?
I'm not certain as far as the exact number.
You would probably say around 15, 20.
At least, if not more.
15 or 20 or more.
At least, if not more.
Okay, and then we're going to work with them to give them technical assistance to make sure that they are successful in expressing their issues and concerns regarding the 59 days.
That's correct.
Did the council office communicate to you that they had received any communication from impacted businesses in their office about the duration of the time in which we're going to implement this particular closure?
They did outreach to us and ask about our programs and indicate that they had been speaking to stakeholders within the area. We provided information about our current successes within that area with the businesses that we have been able to engage, and indicated that we would be doing a workshop, an additional workshop come the fall, September about, and ongoing outreach within the area.
Were they able to share with you that some of the businesses had some concerns about the duration of the length of time we're going to implement this closure?
I'm not able to speak to that directly.
Okay, so we're not sure if the council office was able to express that. In terms of the city offices involved in this process, Streets Los Angeles and Los Angeles Department of Transportation have been, they've been involved in this, they've been communicated with about this closure for 59 days, is that correct?
Yes, in fact, this report is a joint report from Bureau of Street Services and BOE.
BOE, and LADOT has no involvement in this at all? No, okay.
No. I was disagreeing with that. DOT, of course, is heavily involved. They actually provide a portion of the report that explains the impacts, the traffic impacts, and also they approve the detour plans associated with the closures.
Some time ago, we asked that when MTA goes out to do these projects, that we have some notification a couple of blocks prior to the impacted area, so that for those who are traveling by car will be reasonably notified that there is some construction going on. Are we continuing to do that, and will we be doing that in this particular project?
Yes, we're continuing to do that. 19,000 of these went out to about half a mile east, west, south of the alignment. And we have an e-blast, a weekly e-blast that has about 5,000 emails, which we publish weekly. We also have the website that's updated. We also have a writer's alert, which is on Metro's website, and we have been distributing that to the stakeholders, which identifies where, again, the temporary bus stops are going to be. We did media, radio, for those folks that maybe are not within our mailing area, but can get the information on the radio. We also did print media. So we have been and we will continue.
Okay. I'm concerned about the duration of the project in terms of the Taste of Soul. How does the dates fit into that, and what kind of challenge will it present to us as we talk about this particular project?
I'm going to recommend that Brian Hill come up here. He is the construction relations manager for Walshay, and he can also better explain the access in the detour routes for the businesses, the small businesses, which will have some access. And also he's coordinates very closely with the Taste of Soul committee.
I've spoken to Brian on the phone. Nice to meet you in person, Brian.
Can we, hi, Mr. Hill, before you engage on that, could you just put the dates of A Taste of Soul on the record for us so we know?
Taste of Soul is being held on Saturday, October 19th.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
And that will impact the 59 days, are we?
So our closure is anticipated to end on October 10th, which will be 9 days prior to Taste of Soul. That is part of the scheduling to meet the Taste of Soul.
Okay. In terms of the parking for some of the impacted businesses, as you are very, very well aware, some of the businesses have had some concern about, during the time in which we have closures, whether it's in construction and in this type, the transportation construction work that we're doing, are there any requests that we will be able to accommodate for businesses who have some concern about their customers having access to getting to their businesses and that impact that it would have? I know certainly when we have done construction projects like affordable housing, we've provided alternative parking. We've strategically arranged places where those who would normally walk to the businesses could go. I would assume that as a result of the work that we're doing, that might have some impact upon those who are walking to these businesses, because in many ways in the Crenshaw area, while we do have a lot of people driving, we still do, and many of those small businesses have people walking. What kind of plan have we anticipated as it relates to this project and those customers?
Of course. So with this closure, and just for the record, Brian Hill, Community Relations Manager for Walshay Corridor Constructors. With this 59-day closure, it's broken down in 3 phases. The first phase being 17 days, which is 60th to 63rd, and we move block by block in that area. We have, as part of our parking mitigation, we have temporary parking lots which are located on each individual block. So as one block is impacted, there will be a parking lot available on the following blocks, or the adjacent blocks. In addition, we will have the number 2 lane, northbound and southbound, which will be accessible via flagger to allow access to whether it be the businesses or the residents in that area. And then lastly, for pedestrian traffic, sidewalks will not be impacted during this closure.
Sidewalks will not be impacted. And in terms of our strategic plan, will we provide some kind of bus to get people there? You're saying it won't be impacted by sidewalks, so that won't be necessary?
Correct.
Okay. And finally, there was some mention of some items that MTA has been working on with engineering. And I think there were 100 and something, I forgot the specific number, that have still been unresolved. Can somebody speak to that?
This is Cesar Rangel, who is our city inspector.
Yes, thank you for that.
I'm going to guess that progress is being made, though, right?
Yes, sir. Progress is being made. Good
I heard a
morning, all.
rumor, but go ahead.
Yes. My name is Cesar Rangel. I'm with the Bureau of Contract Administration. As of August 5th,
excuse me, 277 of 426 deficiency items have been completed.
It's up from 70 the last time you were here,
Yes.
roughly.
Yes.
And of the remaining, that 100 and some remaining, where are we with regard to those?
Those will be basically north of the closure.
I see.
Most of these items are between Slauson and 48th Street.
Okay, and were there any unforeseen incompletes from the earlier request that we had other than these? I know that some time ago when you came, when MTA came to us, you said there were 70, is that right, Mr. President? Okay.
Roughly 70, and now, as I recall, and now we're up to the number that you just indicated, which is over 200.
277.
Yeah.
So, to date, you're satisfied with the progress that we have made?
Well, we have made some progress, I can tell you that. There are still, some items remaining on there.
Can the MTA give me some kind of update in terms of where we are in that particular task?
So we confirm the number, that 277 were done. They have the resources that we asked for last time when we had 70. I told you that they didn't put enough resources. They put enough resources, and the resources continue to do the work. So they haven't been pulled to do other work. So I expect the remaining maybe will be done by the end of the year properly.
And is there any chance in construction of this project that we might run over the 59 days?
I hope not. We plan not to exceed it. They know the taste of salt. And again, they're going to break it into 3 closures. So there is no closure that's going to be 59 days. They're just moving closure type of thing.
I see. So it's going to be departmentalized, if you will.
Yeah, 59 divided by 3. So.
And we said from 9 a.m., but it's really 6 a.m. that we're starting isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
6 to 9, correct?
No, 6 to 9 a.m. is the peak hour.
Yeah, the closure will implement at 9 a.m. on Monday, August 12th.
I see.
The peak hours for the days to follow through the end of the closure.
Okay. So, in fact, if we do have some unforeseen problems in construction, which can happen in any project, and we're not praying that that happens here, but in case, in fact, it does, we will certainly meet and develop a strategic plan to be able to accommodate the challenges that we know that we have ahead of us, right?
Yes, sir.
We will do that. Okay, good. I think my only concern in closing is that I'd like to, and I will, talk with the council office to make sure that we're doing everything that we can, given the work that we've had to do, Brian, in communicating with businesses on the other project, that we don't have those very problems here on this one, in terms of making sure that the businesses are accommodated. And of course, I trust and know that your staff at MTA will help them in technical assistance for those who do identify appropriately that they need business fund, that will be done. But I just want to make sure that we communicate effectively, because even though you've not heard from people, I can guarantee you, as sure as the sun is shining, more than 3 people who are in business have a problem with 59 days. And I don't know why they haven't called the council office, but I can rest assured that I know more than 3 people have a problem with this length of time. But it is what it is. We do want the best of projects. We do want transportation. I just want to make sure we do everything that we can on our side of the table to make sure that this is a success. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President James. I want to, this is, I guess, for everybody on the Metro side, and I want to reiterate what my colleagues have said. This is exactly what we are trying to minimize, is the impact on the businesses. As a former small business owner, I know that even one day of impact causes a lot of stress. So out of the 100, you only have 12 you're working, 100 roughly, it could be more, it could be less. You have 12 working with you, 3 that attended. We have about 80-something businesses out there that are not being touched or talked to by any chance.
And I physically, when was there, I noticed and I know this is not the same corner, but I'm sure it's the same impact. I noticed that we were working directly on folks' front doors, no way of letting anybody else come in. So I just want, it's not much of a question, more of a comment. Are those businesses, those 80-something remaining businesses, to get talked to let them know what's happening, because as a small business owner, that's our life. The access is our life, and you're basically impacting that access that we get. So I just want to make sure that they're talked to. If you need door to door, I get that. If you need to leave a door hanger, please leave it. If it needs to be translated in Spanish, please do it, because not every business owner speaks completely English. Sometimes they speak Spanish as well. So I just want to reiterate what my colleagues are saying, because it's really important that we continue to leave our small business owners to be successful as City of LA residents. Did you want to add something?
I do. I'm Shalonda Baldwin, Interim Executive Officer over our Business Interruption Fund program, and Jessica has done a great job summarizing some of our outreach efforts. I just want to reiterate that over the course of the 4 or so years, we have supported more than 100 businesses along the Crenshaw community corridor. And so although 3 of the businesses did present during yesterday's orientation workshop, we have consistently been on the forefront working with businesses, have been successful at being able to help over 100 businesses along the full alignment itself. So although it may seem that 3 presented and showed up yesterday for the information, we have been out there these past 4 years with the businesses, our financial administrator, our team, including our Business Solutions Center team as well. And we actually have quite a great rapport and understanding of the businesses. We hear from the businesses all the time. We recognize the impacts to the businesses. And so a lot of our engagement is that direct engagement, knowing what time a business is open, knowing what time and where we can reach a business owner. And so we have been consistent at ensuring that we have a multi-phased approach to getting our information to those businesses and getting them to the financial support and the technical support as well.
Thank you so much. And as you can see, this is important to us. So any small impact, even if it's 3 months, it's important. And I understand that you've been doing your outreach and it's working out great. We might want to think of being a little leniency for those that are not qualifying and still have a business that's being impacting. I know I said it last time you guys were here, because sometimes if it's some of your requirements are 2 years in business, and there's kind of quite a few things. There's some businesses that are not 2 years, and like I told you before, 2 years, the first 2 years in a business life, it's really important, and we're basically impacting that situation. So you might want to just think about figuring out, for those that do not have 2 years in business, what can we do for them, because they are being hurt as well. And it's important for us. The closing of a street is really important for us to either grant or not grant. Mind you, we don't want to stop the work. We want to make sure that happens and that it concludes. But we also want to make sure that our residents and our businesses are taken care of and not being impacted, because then we'll cause more harm than good, and I don't want that. So the other thing I wanted to say is, I know that you spoke about a brochure. Is it also translated in Spanish? And our folks got it English and Spanish as well? And the reason I'm asking that, and the reason I'm also discussing about the door hangers, is because not everybody's on social media, as you know. So even we can get Nextdoor app alerts or whatever other type of alerts, but our elderly folks don't do that. And our elderly folks that don't speak English especially don't do that. And they're the ones that get impacted because maybe they're getting picked up by their senior citizen home. All of those things, then we need to let them know beforehand. So my big question, do you guys have those signs up on the street saying street closure? Have they been up already?
Those are up.
Okay, good. And you guys, out of all the things I listed, everything you guys did, that was not a part of
Can
that.
I just say something to the students
Oh,
real
yes,
quick
sorry.
on-
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, hey, everybody. We've got looks like junior leaders that are in this morning. Welcome to City Hall. We're having a discussion about a potential street closure on Crenshaw Boulevard while we build a subway line and a light rail line for public transportation. And that's a discussion that's happening this morning. We are the Department of Public Works, which is everything that you touch every day, sidewalks and streets and transit and trees. And this looks like a group of High school seniors? Oh, maybe a little younger.
No.
Just kidding. What group do we have? Okay, middle school and some high school members. How many of you are middle school? Great. How many of you are high school? And how many of you are ready to be seniors? Take your time. There you go. All right. Well, thank you for being in City Hall. One thing I like to tell people that this room that we're in, outside of a movie studio, this is one of the most filmed rooms in the city of Los Angeles. TV shows and movies are filmed here regularly. So welcome to City Hall. And I saw him pointing out the incredible ceiling and the seal of the city earlier. But thank you for being here. And Commissioner Garcia, sorry for the interruption, but they were leaving, and I wanted to be able
that
to
was
say
extremely
something.
important. Not at all. I would have done.
Go ahead.
Thank you for doing that. And just lastly, I just want to close with saying and asking. Actually, the question is: you said that the closure is it's going to go phase by phase, right? So I take it it's streets by streets, right? Will you then remove the closure from when you're done so that it can kind of move the traffic faster?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't get that clear. Okay, that's basically my last of my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 9. We've had enough discussion about the conditions going forward. I do want to thank you, though, as I conclude my motion, with the progress that's being made, but let you also know that we look forward to continuing progress. And I will recognize the condition number 8 that requires a verbal report back to the Board of Public Works about the progress on correction items set for this September 9th, 2019. With that, I'll make my motion. Is there a second on that? Commissioner Davis, any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 9. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for the discussion. Any issue sending agenda item number 9 forthwith? We'll send agenda item number 9 forthwith. Mr. Hsu, that takes us back to agenda item number 8, which we flirted with earlier, handling and didn't. Let's do it now. Council District 8 Supplemental Agreement, Storm Drain Conflict on Crenshaw Boulevard, south of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Metro Crenshaw LAX Transit Corridor Project, recommending that the board approve and forward the report with transmittals to the mayor and city council, requesting authority for the city engineer and the director of sanitation on behalf of the city of Los Angeles to execute a supplemental agreement to the existing master cooperative agreement between the city and Metro, and to make any necessary modifications to affect the intent of the agreement. And Mr. Sachs, you have a card in on number 8. Mr. Sachs on number 8. Mr. Sachs on number 8. Mr. Hsu on number 8.
Morning again. Larry Hsu from the Bureau of Engineering, Metro Transit Division. Plenty of Crenshaw items this morning. This is a request for authority to execute an agreement between BOE, LA San, and Metro to compensate the city for proposed non-standard city storm drain. Metro and its contractor, Walshay Corridor Constructors, have designed a storm drain segment located along Crenshaw Boulevard between Stalker Street and MLK, I didn't write that down, to replace an existing 27-inch diameter storm drain. This area is adjacent to and east of Baldwin Hills Mall. Due to an earlier construction error by another contractor during the advanced utility relocation phase of the project, and due to a lack of utility coordination on the part of Walshay Corridor Constructors, Metro and Walshay have proposed a non-standard storm drain design that will impact the city's future cost to maintain access and replace the storm drain. Correcting the past errors would negatively impact the community and the Crenshaw LAX project schedule. Metro and BOE and BOS have reached a financial settlement to accept the non-standard storm drain. The agreed amount is $778,250, which will be deposited into the Stormwater Pollution Abatement Fund to be used at LA San's discretion. That concludes my report. I have also Ali Pusti from LA San that can answer or comment on questions.
Great, thank you, Mr. Hsu. We'll start with Commissioner Davis. Oh, okay, Commissioner Davis, fine. Commissioner Caloza.
Thank you, President James. And so in the report and also in your oral report, Larry, you mentioned that there was an unfavorable design in terms of utility coordination. Was that because LA sanitation wasn't brought in from the onset by the contractor, or can you explain a little bit more about, why we're now, looking at this issue after there's been a substantial amount of work done on the Crenshaw project already?
No, LA San relies on BOE to do plan checking and coordination, and BOE's role is to review plans and designs that are proposed to us. The coordination and execution of the work really falls on Metro's project team and coordinating various entities to do work and to make sure everything fits in the street. So in this case, a AT&T duct bank was not constructed where it needed to be, and as we march forward through the design, the project team is proposing to fit a storm drain in an area that's very, very tight, and the resulting storm drain will be has jogs in its horizontal alignment, has changes in its slope, has changes in its cross section, which is really problematic for a storm drain. Debris tends to drop out of it when you have things like that.
So, did LA Sand find out about the situation late?
Yes, we typically don't bring in LA San unless there are really things that are out of the ordinary. If it's built to standard, we don't involve them really.
And so, whose responsibility was it to have coordinated with LA San on the storm drain coordination?
We would look towards Metro or one of their contractors for the overall coordination of utility relocations.
And in terms of impact to the schedule for this project, how delayed would you say this added to this project in terms of number of days? Since LA Sand sounds like they had to come in at the last minute to kind of help resolve this issue, when really it could have been avoidable, right?
You're asking what is the impact to just this problem, or what would it take to make it right?
Or what's the impact of this issue to the specific project, since it's something that could have been avoided?
I'd have to defer to Metro on whether this affects the critical path of the project.
Again, Sammy Gali, Senior Executive Officer. This issue has no impact on the schedule. There's other issues that drive in the schedule, not this issue.
So this was part of the plan the entire time?
Sorry?
Or this was part of the project schedule and plan the entire time?
No, you can have piece of work delayed, but doesn't delay the whole project. There is other items that delay the whole project or affect the end date.
Okay. Yeah.
This piece of Crenshaw has been open excavation, backfilled for quite some time, waiting for the resolution of this issue. Sammy's correct. Probably up till now, it hasn't affected the critical path of the project. But at some point, if it's not resolved, it absolutely will. You won't be able to backfill MLK, the corner of MLK and Crenshaw, and therefore the station can't open, and therefore the project would be impacted.
And the community impact, that this area is still dug up.
Right, and so really, I guess my comment was this situation could have been avoided.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, could have been.
I think it could have been mitigated.
Yeah.
I think when we were out there, Commissioner Garcia and I think that was a common theme that we were seeing and actually I don't want to put words in your mouth, that I observed, was that a lot of these issues for the Crenshaw project could have been avoided. LA San could have been notified ahead of time by the contractor. Metro could have done a better job coordinating, different utilities. And, it's really, I think LA Sanitation and BOE has gone above and beyond to really try to move this project as fast as possible. And, Con Ed, really trying to move the punch list items as fast as possible, especially with regards to, conditions of the sidewalk, or again, with the utility coordination. We want to be really good partners to you, but I think, the way in which in speaking directly to some of the people at Metro was a little bit concerning in terms of that, oh yeah, it could have been avoided, whereas, I think for us, like, we really want you to take this project seriously in the same fashion that you would the project on Constellation Boulevard, right? And I don't think we're experiencing the same kind of delays and utility coordination with our team for those other projects that we are in Crenshaw. And so that's just the comment I wanted to give.
Thank you. One thing I want to say before I go to Commissioner Davis, the amount that Metro is paying, $778,250, that was a negotiated amount, correct?
Larry Shu, correct.
Yeah, so that's look, had the problems not occurred, we wouldn't have to have a settlement for the funds.
Correct. It will result in long-term costs to the city, and that's what those funds are
Yeah, I'm
intended
not
to
defending
mitigate.
it, but I am happy that the city is being reimbursed. Yeah. All right, Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. But for the record, BOE, you're first base on the construction of this project, correct? You're the first person they have to deal with for approval, BOE, correct? Or
Yes, yes. Our approvals are necessary prior to construction.
Great. And then, as a result of your being on first base on this, then you will notify you will notify sanitation. Who notifies sanitation? Who's responsible for notifying?
It's a hard question to answer. We don't, BOE, our primary role is plan checking.
Sure.
And BOS, their role is to operate and maintain the system.
That's right, once it's done,
so,
correct.
In the spectrum of all the different types of submittals that we get, certain things will impact Bureau of Sanitation, either their maintenance or their capital replacement. And in those instances, we will involve them.
So we do communicate with them because the
yes.
board report indicates that we do when it says BOE and LA SAN recommendation. So obviously we communicated with them. So my point is that you're on first chair on this project, and then you notify them, and then you make a recommendation to the board of public works.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President James. I do feel that we should take this situation a little more seriously than, oh, it could have been avoided, because this is a big deal. This is a design, it was misaligned, and we missed an entire utility, whatever the official name is called, underground. So at some point, we should have like a lot of double checkers from Metro, from the construction, from our departments and so forth. So I just want to kind of reiterate a lot of what my colleagues said, but I just want to say that this is something we should take very seriously, and I hope as we move forward and build on the city of LA again, that we look at everything, underground, upground, businesses, before we actually hit the ground and break it. And then we're underground now and we have a really big issue. So, and this is not no piece of cake type of deal, and $778, thank you, we appreciate that, but I don't know if that's the whole complete cost of what we're about to do. So in the future, as we plan and we move forward, I really hope that we take this line really seriously and not have to go through this type of issues, because this could have been avoided. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 8, seconded by Commissioner Cabello and Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 8. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Any issue sending number 8 forthwith? We'll send number 8 forthwith. Agenda item number, thank you all for being here as well. Number 10, Council District 4, revocable permit 13619 Ventura Boulevard, Antonio's Pizza. Recommending that the board first authorize the city engineer to issue a revocable permit to encroach within the public right-of-way, subject to the conditions listed. The encroachments are outdoor seating and railing for a full-service restaurant with 6 tables and 20 chairs, and railing within a 15-foot wide border along Ventura Boulevard, encroaching approximately 6 feet into the public right-of-way. Mr. Tanageri, wait 1 second. Mr. Tanageri, all yours. I don't have a speaker card.
Good morning. Wesley Chenajeri, Bureau of Engineering, Valley District Office. Hopefully this will be a lot shorter than the other ones. As you stated, this is a revocable permit for sidewalk dining that's encroaching in the public right-of-way, 13619 Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks and Council District 4. As you said, it's 6 tables and 20 chairs and a railing that's encroaching. The reason that we're coming to the board is because it's not meeting the current board policies for clearance on the sidewalk. The current policies that were approved by the board in April of this year require a minimum 4 feet clearance on the sidewalk between the encroachments and any other obstructions such as sign posts, power poles, street lights, and in this case, the edge of tree wells. In this case, there are 2 trees, existing trees that are located in front of Antonio's Pizzeria, which cause the issues with clearance. They're proposing their railing to be 3 foot clear from the edge of the tree well and add another foot on top of the tree well to make the 4 feet. Normally, we would not allow this because our policy is based on the edge of the tree well, so that's why we're coming to the board. There are 2 restaurants on either side of Antonio's Pizzeria that have similar encroachments, and they don't have any issues because there's no trees in front of their establishments. We are not aware of any controversies in this case, and they also have the support of the Council District Office and the Mayor's Office.
I was going to say, yeah, I have a letter from the Mayor's Office supporting it, and thank you for the record on the Council Office. I don't have any questions. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Tanageri. I'll make a motion that we adopt number 10, seconded by Commissioners Davis and Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 10. Agenda item number 2, contract amendment, Council District 7, Office of Community Beautification, Sylmar Graffiti Busters, fiscal year 2019-2020, that's current fiscal year, graffiti services and inclusion of Bureau of Engineering, recommending that the board authorize OCB to execute a contract amendment with Sylmar Graffiti Busters to increase the ceiling amount of the contract by an amount of $19,000. Secondly, authorize BOE to piggyback on an existing contract that the Office of Community Beautification administers with the Sylmar Graffiti Busters. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the board to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the Office of the City Attorney. Mr. Valito.
Good morning, President James, Commissioners, members of the board, Mr. Executive Officer. Jerry Valito, representing the Office of Community Beautification. We have various contract amendments to come before the board today, the first of which is regarding a ceiling amount increase to the contract of Sylmar Graffiti Busters. The Harding Street Bridge Rock Slope Protection Project involved the permanent restoration of the Harding Street Bridge located over the Pacoima Wash in Council District 7. This work impacted the plant habitat in the surrounding area, which necessitated the development of a habitat restoration and monitoring plan, which was imposed by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Sylmar Graffiti Busters has been contracted to provide weed removal, watering, planting of new vegetation, and litter pickup in the impacted area. OCB is requesting the authorization of a ceiling increase of $19,000 to Sylmar Graffiti Busters' current OCB contract so that they may carry out these functions. In order to directly fund this project, OCB is also requesting that the Bureau of Engineering be granted the authority to piggyback on OCB's existing contract with Sylmar Graffiti Busters.
Thank you, sir. We'll start with Commissioner Garcia.
Yeah, thank you, President. I just have a basic question. With this 19,000, I'm sorry, 19,000, is this going to be ongoing maintenance, or is it just a one-time deal?
As I understand it, the project is supposed to go for about 2 years. I do have representatives here from the Bureau of Engineering. If you really want to get into some details of the project, they'd be more than happy to come up and speak on that.
If you want, if not, I can get them after. I just wanted to know if this is gonna, 19,000 is gonna be a one-time issue, or is it gonna be recurring? I'm very familiar with this area, and I'm very familiar with this path that you're talking about, and it does need it, so I'm happy that we're addressing it. I just want to know if it's gonna be ongoing or one-time deal.
This is Richard Louis with the Bureau of Engineering. As part of the restoration plan that was required in the permit from California Fish and Wildlife, it required us to restore the plants and the foliage that we damaged. That restoration plan is a 5-year plan. We think that we can meet the requirements of restoring the habitat sooner than that, but the full plan is 5 years. As I understand it, the existing on-call list with OCB, Office of Community Beautification, is only for the next couple years. If we're able to finish and meet those requirements within the next 2 years, we're done. But because the on-call contract will expire, we are not able to request the full amount at this time. But again, if we're able to meet the restoration requirements before then this will be a one-time thing. But there is a potential that we would come back for this additional work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Is that a motion, Commissioner Garcia? I'll second it. Any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 2. Any issue sending 2 forthwith? We'll send number 2 forthwith. I've been informed that the record is unclear on whether or not we wanted to send agenda item number 10, that's the R permit for the pizza place, forthwith. So I would propose that we do, and we will. There we go. Davis wants pepper. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank
There
you.
we go. How about that? Agenda item number 3. Yeah, do they serve the pizza that fast? That's the question. Council District 4, agenda item number 3, contract amendment, Los Angeles Conservation Corps, Council District 4 cleanup services, fiscal year 2019-20 this fiscal year, recommending that the board authorize OCB, subject to appropriation and transfer, to execute a contract amendment with the Los Angeles Conservation Corps in the amount of $200,000 to provide further funding for supplemental community beautification services in CD4 during this fiscal year 1920, and authorize myself or 2 members of the board to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Mr. Valita.
Jerry Valido, representing the Office of Community Beautification. This next contract amendment focuses on supplemental community beautification services in Council District 4 at the direction of Council Member Rue and pursuant to the approval of both the City Council and Mayor Garcetti. $200,000 has been authorized for graffiti removal, weed abatement, litter pickup, and other services, utilizing both youth and adults through the Los Angeles Conservation Corps, also known as LACC. LACC currently maintains a contract in good standing with the City of LA as one of our graffiti abatement contractors, and we request that the board authorize to amend LACC's contract to provide these services in CD4, utilizing the aforementioned funding.
Thank you. Any questions on number 3? So Commissioner Caballo's moving number 3, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection? With that objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 3. Any issues stating 3 forthwith? We'll send number 3 forthwith. That takes us to agenda item number 4, Council District 1. Contract amendment, Los Angeles Conservation Corps again. This is Council District 1, though, River Keepers Cleanup Project, recommending that the board authorize OCB to execute a contract amendment with Los Angeles Conservation Corps in the amount of $180,000 for services as part of the CD1 River Keepers Cleanup Project, and secondly, authorize myself or 2 members of the board to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the city attorney. Mr. Valito on number 4.
Again, for the record, Jerry Valido with the Office of Community Beautification. Our third contract amendment this morning involves a request for the board to authorize an amendment with the Los Angeles Conservation Corps. It involves services to be provided by LACC, and these crews will work along the areas of the LA River in need of cleanup as part of the CD1 River Keepers Cleanup Project, and will partner with Councilmember Cedillo's office to obtain work locations as well as proactively seek areas within CD1 in need of beautification services. LACC will also be providing work opportunities for youth residing in CD1. To provide you with a brief snapshot of this program's accomplishments in fiscal year 2018 to 2019, this program cleaned 411 streets, maintained 133 trees, abated 38,108 square feet of weeds, removed 1,487 bulky items, and collected 113,379 pounds of trash. OCB is requesting an amendment to LACC's contract in the amount of $180,000 to fund this maintenance work that has had such an effective impact on the CD1 community.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions. Commissioner Caballos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 4, seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 4. Any issue sending number 4 forthwith? We will send number 4 forthwith. Number 5, contract amendment, Gang Alternatives Program, increased ceiling amount and inclusion of the Bureau of Street Services, otherwise known now as Streets LA. Recommending that the board first authorize OCB to execute a contract amendment with the Gang Alternatives Program to increase the ceiling amount of the contract by the amount of $132,545.50. Secondly, authorize Streets LA to piggyback on an existing contract that OCB administers with the Gang Alternatives Program. And third, authorize myself or 2 members of the board to execute the contract amendment after approval as to form has been obtained by the Office of the City Attorney. Mr. Sachs on number 5.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. For the record, Arnold Sachs, and Arnold Sachs for the record. Yes, this is where people throw their weight around. When you question their objectives, they say, you know what, don't question, we'll just pile on. So my real question here is, back in July 11th, 2019, you had approved contracts for all of these programs that are listed, and now, not even 3 weeks later, they're coming back and asking for more money. That's what you do when you want to pile on. We didn't hear anything. Will these additional contracts also be using the project labor agreement, where they'll be paying labor costs like that instead of a city's minimum wage or the county's minimum wage, where the living wage ordinance, or these will be projects that are covered under the union contracts where they pay labor agreement wages? It's just somewhat redundant that people don't really want to be held accountable for what they do. They want to say, you know what, if you ask questions, we'll make even more trouble, and we'll add more funding, and we'll do what we want to do because that's how we do these things. So you just have to keep asking questions. Thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you do ask questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Valito on number 5.
And for the final time this morning, Jerry Valido with the Office of Community Beautification. The East Side Access Street Improvement Project has made way for major improvements in the Boyle Heights area of the city, and also includes the Metro Gold Line Access Corridor. The Gang Alternatives Project, or program I should say, also known as GAP, is one of OCB's graffiti abatement contractors, and they will be tasked with the watering of street trees, landscaping, general maintenance of the tree wells, weeding, litter pickup, pressure washing the sidewalks, graffiti and sticker removal, as well as any other needed tasks. In order to fund these services, OCB is requesting the board to authorize a contract amendment to increase their contract ceiling amount by $132,545.50. Additionally, OCB requests the board to authorize Bureau of Street Services, or Streets LA, to be able to piggyback on GAP's current OCB contract so that they may provide the aforementioned funding for this work.
Any questions? Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, President James. I just have a question on the transmittal that we have here, and I don't know if it's our deal or the way OCB submitted. On the very last one, you talk about Northeast Graffiti Buster in City 7, but that's not the same one as the one we're talking about here, City 14. Am I right or wrong? I pressed on the, Fernando, I pressed on the, Dr. Campos, I pressed on our icon and it got me to this page. I just want to make sure that it's not added to this, but it looks like it is.
No, Commissioner, I don't know why that would be there. This is strictly only dealing with GAP.
I thought so. I thought, yeah, so you might want to delete the last 2 pages of the board report as not part of this report.
Oh, it sure is. Yeah, this bullet sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that's there.
Yeah,
it references Commissioner Rodriguez, too.
And it's City 7, which has nothing to do with City 14.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I just want to, for the record, take it out of the board report and remove it.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Campos will do that.
Which sheets,
It's
just
the
to make
last
sure
two-
that I'm on the same
last two
page?
pages.
Last 2 pages, it has, he'll show you.
There's no, yeah, I see
Yeah.
it. This summary that somehow got attached.
Okay.
Just probably sitting on a desk and got added, yeah. Okay, so that'll be an amended motion by Commissioner Garcia that'll be seconded by Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 5 amended. Any issue sending number 5 forthwith? We'll send number 5 forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
You too. Agenda item number 6, a requested contract acceptance, Council District 11, Engineering and Contract Administration, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Service Water Facility Upgrade. Mr. McReynolds is asking that we accept the contract. There you are, sir.
Yes, thank you, President James, Commissioners, and Bureau Reps. Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration. Item number 6 is for Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant in CD 11. This contract was awarded by your board on March 13th, 2013 in the amount of $2,734,954 to JF Shea Construction. The contract provided for the uninstalling, transportation, and reinstalling of 6 aqua aerobics disc filters. The work took place at Donald Tillman Treatment Plant in Lake Balboa. 20 change orders were issued, increasing the contract for a total contract cost of $2,893,798.55. This is a 5.81% amount award above the award amount, and changes were due to unforeseen conflicts with the operations of the plant. In addition to that, some additional electrical work involving the plant's electrical infrastructure. The contract had a PLA, and all PLO goals were met, as well as all labor compliance requirements. Funding was through the Sewer Capital Fund, and all work was completed on June 10th, 2014. There are no disputed funds or unresolved complaints, so we're asking acceptance.
Thank you. So was there a budget increase along the way?
A motion for a budget increase?
Well, I'm just trying to figure, I think this came in at, it says 3.81% below its authorized budget. So I'm just wondering if along the way in this project, did we bump the budget up?
Yeah, there may have been a budget increase, but not, nothing that the award amount remained. But there may have been the original budget may have
Because
fluctuated.
if you add the 2.7 million plus the 273, which is obviously 10%, that gets you right to the authorized budget, but it stayed under $3 million. So it doesn't look like we had a budget bump, actually.
No.
I was just concerned with 20 change orders.
Yeah, the 20 change orders, when you go back through and look at them, there was a lot of work out there that Donald Tillman plant was built back in the 70s, and a lot of work that they were trying to fit these filtration systems into existing infrastructure, and there was a lot of electrical work that needed to be redone as a result.
20 change orders, you still fit within the budget.
Yeah.
So that's unusual. Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 6.
Thank you.
Seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any objection? Without objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 7, Council Districts 8, 14, and 15, Engineering and Contract Administration. Requested contract acceptance, collection system pumping plant generator replacement projects, Manchester generator replacement, Dakota generator replacement, Harris Place generator replacement, Murdoch and I generator replacement, and 190th and Vermont generator replacement. Lots of generator replacing. Requesting that we accept the contract. Mr. Sachs on number 7.
Yes, thank you again. For the record, Arnold Sachs, and I do pay attention. Actually, I really do. The reason I held this item was because back on June 28th, 2019, you had an item before your board where they authorized equipment to be purchased from several different parties involving a preliminary treatment improvement project, CIP 4185. But they were going to be installed by the general contractor awarded the construction project. And so it's always been my brain cramp experience that if you buy parts from one place and you have somebody else install them, especially with big labor, big money items like this, sometimes it'll affect the warranty on the parts that are being installed because the people you buy the parts from aren't the actual final installers for the parts. So that's why I held it back on the 26th, and that's why I held it back today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McReynolds on number 7.
Again, Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration. This acceptance is for the project collection systems pumping plant generator replacement projects in CD 8, 14, and 15. As you had mentioned, President James, those work orders, there is one correction actually to the agenda, and that is the first work order number, which ends in 801. That is SZC12801. That should be SZC12802. This contract was awarded by your board on June 15, 2016, in the amount of $2,783,800 to Miron Electric. The contract provided for the demolition and installation of generators and control transfer switches, as well as exhaust cooling systems at several pumping plants. 7 change orders were issued in this project, decreasing the contract amount for a total contract amount of $2,752,103.02. This is 0.096% below the award amount, and the contractor has complied with all labor compliance requirements in the contract. Funding was through the Wastewater Capital Improvement Program and Wastewater Revenue Fund. All work was completed December 6, 2017, and there are no disputed funds or unresolved complaints. Again, we're requesting acceptance.
Okay. Any questions on number 7? I don't have any questions. I'll make a motion that we adopt number 7, seconded by Commissioner Caloza and Commissioner Cabello. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 7. The meeting
Mr.
minutes
President,
for approval.
Could we get that as amended, just in case, so that I
Yeah,
can correct the
that-
record for the
good
work
point.
order from
I even wrote it on
12801
here.
to 12802, correct?
Yeah, good point.
Thank
It's
you.
amended. Yeah. Thank you. So without objection, we'll send number 7 forthwith amended. Agenda item, the minutes that we're going to approve are from Friday, June 21, 2019, and Commissioner Cabello has seconded my motion that we approve those meeting minutes. Without objection, we will do that. Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned this Friday morning, everyone. Have a nice weekend.